is up, everybody? Panic! Panic! Everybody panic! This is Donald. He's unhinged.
Oh, boy.
He's stressed. You know what? If any more updates on Twitter, I might just throw a vending machine out the window. From the office, just like that scene from The Office. And the fire,
shit.
fire, fire. This is a therapy session. This is a therapy session. This is like this is like forget Avengers Assemble. This is Yankee fans assemble. So I got my Yankee favorite content creators here. I got my guy Mazza. I got my guy NFE, and we're all gonna try and help each other through this crisis. We'll try and make it through without me throwing any vending machines out the window. We got some chat firing through. Yeah, hello everybody. We got Joan. What up, Joan? We got Jonathan. What up? We got FL Diver. FL Diver. Let's hope MRI. Oh God, we're praying. We're praying.
Oh, you have to be praying at this point.
We're all we can do is pray. So let me hand this off to Mazza. How are you, my guy?
I am okay. I'm actually closer to throwing a sledgehammer out a window, but that's but that's a whole different can of worms that I'm not going to open up just yet. So being someone that has an elbow injury himself, a partially torn UCL, I can tell you whenever they say MRI on a pitching elbow, the first red flag is that, and that first thing that comes to mind is, well, fuck, get bent. We just lost the pitcher to Tommy John. That's exactly what that says. You're hoping he caught it early enough, though. But as it says in this article from MLB Trade Rumors, he wasn't recovering as well as he normally does. So that's a little bit of a concern, but we'll see. We just have to hope it's nothing too serious and see what happens with these results.
Bro, it's not like ringworm. I mean, if it's torn, it's torn. It doesn't matter when it's caught.
But I'm saying you hope he took the initiative to, get it. This is what I'm saying, but
no, I get you. What is up, NFP? NFP is showing his face with the stress, I'm sure. How are you, my guy?
I'm good. And yeah, I'm not on camera, guys, because I'm driving. So I just want to let everybody know that, I'm fine, man. I'm good. Yeah, the Gerrit Cole news is definitely unfortunate. It was a bit of a shock for a Monday morning. So, you hope for the best, but
expect the
anytime
worst.
you hear about a pitcher, expect the worst. Anytime you hear about a pitcher getting a MRI done on their pitching elbow, especially, it never usually ends up being good news. But I mean, one way or another, I've already mentally prepared myself that whatever happens. It's out of our. I mean, there's nothing we can do.
It's out of our control.
All we could do is just hope the Yankees have a plan B in effect, or they have a backup plan, and let's just hope they still have a good season. I know it's hard to to believe that they still will have a good season, right? If Cole's injury is serious, but what again, not a whole lot we can do, but not the news we wanted to hear, but
Absolutely.
Here we are. Guys.
But that's the other thing, and what makes it a much harder pill to swallow is the fact that Cole's been our healthiest pitcher since coming to New York. He's been our most dominating pitcher. He's been our most feared pitcher. And now this happened. It's like, well, fuck. Get bent. Now our fear factor is gone on the mound.
You're right. It was always in the back of my mind because, he was pitching so incredible last year. He was pitching like Ron Guidry. and Whitey Ford had a baby. You know what I mean? It was just unbelievable. He was incredible, and it was in the back of my head, and I couldn't help it. But every start in this losing season where it was completely meaningless, I was thinking, God, I hope he ain't wasting his arsenal on this bad season, because we're going to be better next year, and I really hope he doesn't get hurt. It was in the back of my head. I just, it was just
Something just told you.
because it was just, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but pitchers are so fragile, especially aces. You just don't want them wasting their arsenal on wasted seasons, and we've been wasting his arsenal on wasted seasons for a couple of years now. So, oh my God! And now when we finally have a team, the best team we've had since 2019, you worry, you really, really worry, because this team is going to win a World Series, in my opinion. I was also thinking, heck, me, Rob, and Uncle T, we're having a good Monday. The biggest problem we had was Clark Schmidt and Nestor Cortez at the bottom of our rotation. Who's going to fill out the bottom of our rotation to help Gerrit Cole out? And now the problem has gotten significantly larger. So, oh my God. So we'll talk about the best and worst case scenario here. But let's bring up Jonathan's comment. Brian Hodge, Yankees do not expect to have a prognosis for Gerrit Cole today, and possibly not tomorrow either. There will be multiple opinions given regarding his treatment. This is not good, bedfellows. This is not good.
You know what the sad part is my concern for the Yankees rotation was not even that high yesterday, but now with this, it just skyrocketed.
It is. I mean, just reading between the lines there. Okay, so you're not expected to get a prognosis today or tomorrow, and there will be multiple opinions given.
That doesn't make it feel any better than it did 2 minutes ago.
Exactly. If it was just precautionary, would it be a case of that? Multiple opinions and not having a clear prognosis in the next couple of days. That says to me that there's a serious concern. Reading between the lines, what do you guys think?
Absolutely. At this point, with that being said, multiple opinions, also never a good sign. You never want to hear that you're getting multiple opinions on one injury that you're getting an MRI for. That's never a good sign. What you want is to not hear that. You want the opposite of that. So at this point, it's up in the air, and now we just got to hope. And it's funny because Rob, I think it was Rob who said the other day on Taska's show that Warren and Beater both won't be up at the same time unless a serious injury happens. And now look what we have.
That was the only way I said Beater would come, or not Beater, but Warren would come up, is if there's a serious injury in the rotation. So this might be an opportunity for Warren now to get plugged into the rotation. We'll see though.
Yeah, let's talk about the best and worst case scenarios here. So let's talk best case scenario. Best case scenario, we get a tweet very soon that this is just viewed as precautionary, or the MRI came back negative. In that scenario, how long do you think it would take for Gerrit Cole to be ramped up and ready?
In that case, with that scenario, you're looking maybe 2 weeks missed, depending on how bad it is. If it's just a strain or whatever it is.
Right.
Okay? Right. So depending on that will determine how much time Gerrit Cole is going to miss. It'll more than likely be the first couple of series. He'll probably come back towards, the end of the home stretch or the home street or home series that we have. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is he's done for the year.
Yeah, we'll get to the worst case scenario. NFB, like, how long do you think it would take? I think it would take more than a month, in my opinion, because it's such a a fragile thing, and it's so important that your pitching elbow is 1,000%. They're going to ramp it up slowly. How long do you think it would take?
I mean, for him to come back and pitch again, let's just say, if we're talking this season, he probably wouldn't come back or pitch again till about a month till it's fully recovered, assuming it's nothing serious, right?
I agree.
It's probably going to be a month at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a couple of months, because with elbow injuries, you don't want to mess around.
Yep.
So I'll go ahead and say even 2 months. Just because elbow. Yeah, just because anytime you have an elbow involved, like, it's not a joking matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, worst case, I mean, he could be out. He could be out for the year.
Now, mind you, that 2 weeks that I had mentioned earlier was the 2 weeks before you reevaluate.
Yeah.
So
okay, I've got an update from Brian Hawk and Nestor Cortez on Gerrit Cole. He's a big part of the rotation. It's tough to hear the news. Oh, good God. Breathe. Okay. He's so well aware of his body. He knows what he's doing in and out throughout the whole year. I feel this is something that he's trying to get ahead of. Obviously, it's alarming for everybody. I know he's been dealing with some stuff, as is every pitcher in spring training. I didn't know how serious it was until now. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean,
Donald, don't throw anything out the window, please.
I mean, I'm reading things and I'm not liking things right now.
I understand that, but don't start throwing things out the window until you actually find out the bad news, if it is bad news.
I mean, did you guys hear? You know what? I got a red flag when Curry interviewed Gerrit Cole after his last start, and he was like, how are you doing? He's like, getting there. And it was kind of like too hazy. It was a little hazy for me, when he was like, yeah, I think we're kind of there where we're supposed to be. It kind of was like, is he hiding something? That doesn't sound like as. That doesn't sound
like a definite answer or a Gerrit Cole-esque answer.
I got that from the last interview. I was thinking, but I wasn't looking too deep into it.
With that wasn't like concerning. It was just like, what's going on kind of thing. It's when you kind of want to dig deeper. But when this came out, that was the end of that.
Yeah. We got Joe. What's Joe saying here? I still don't think they're signing Mel, Snell, or Monty. Paying $50 to $60 million for a pitcher is bad business. It seems the percentage of pitchers breaking down is increasing dramatically. It will increase dramatically, especially with the pitch clock. I do believe that you're going to see more injuries with pitchers with the pitch clock, because I don't think arms are supposed to be doing that motion every 20 seconds. It's a lot of strain on your body. We got NFE. He's here. How are you doing, my guy?
Yeah. Pretty good, man. I was gonna say, I'm not driving right now, but I will have to leave soon.
No problem.
I'm fine, man. Like I don't I'm like one of those fans that doesn't necessarily like freak out like everybody else, and it's just like
See, before he gets back, that's good therapy for us. This is good therapy for me. I needed to speak to NFE. We needed to speak to NFE. He's cool. He will help us through this moment. And he's back. What were you saying, my guy?
Oh, me or Mazza?
You, NFE.
Oh, me.
Your camera broke up.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, like, whenever I see these types of reports, I'm just, my first reaction is like, oh no, Oh no. But most fans I know are freaking out and act like it's the end of the world. But I don't know. For me, I'm just like it is what it is. Like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
It's unfortunately part of the sport, and these injuries do happen, and they're gonna continue happening. It's not just gonna be Gerrit Cole. You saw other
It's gonna be
pitchers who have
everybody.
been getting hurt too. Yeah.
And
So.
you know what the scary part is?
Mm-hmm.
The dude from the Mariners, Jackson Kawhi, I think his
Yep.
name is 22 and he's undergoing Tommy John surgery. The amount of Tommy John surgeries that have been occurring over the last few years, or actually the last decade, have been skyrocketing. So whatever they're doing to fuck their arms up, they're doing it successfully. Because now you're seeing 3, 4, 5 Tommy John surgeries a year, and it's like, well, what the fuck? And it's not just pitchers, it's players too. Look at Dominguez, look at Harper.
Yeah. Yeah, and Tommy John surgery used to be rare, right? They used to be rare.
Yeah.
That used to be a rare surgery. Now,
It's a normality thing. It's normal.
yeah, it's like we can expect 2 to 3 a year now. Like we can expect 2 to 3 a year now. Now it's very common. So, I don't know if it's just pitchers are throwing harder or
Well, don't you think it's the pitch clock? Because every 20 seconds you have to throw in a natural rhythm every 20 seconds. I mean,
Yeah,
surely that's a strain on your arm.
Yeah, and that was the other thing was it was the pitch clock. That was going to be the next thing I was going to focus on was the pitch clock being an issue, and
Yeah.
and I think it is an issue. I think that's what happened to look what happened to Nestor last year, right? So I think that pitch clock might have had an effect, and all these other guys that are also pitchers that are getting hurt as well. It's got to be the pitch clock. I mean, how is it that all these number of pitching injuries happening? Like ever since they implemented the pitch clock, now the injuries have gone up.
Yep.
There's to be a correlation here.
I'm blaming this completely on Rob Manfred. Manfred.
Yeah,
there was no need to add a fucking pitch clock. There was no need to add a clock for the batters. There's no need for any of that. But being the little prancy little priss that he is, he's like, oh, we need to speed the games up. They're too slow. Get real, bro. That's how baseball is.
What I had an issue was how short it was. Like if it was something like every say 40 seconds or something like that. Well, let's not waste too much time, but let's keep things kind of moving. I'm all right with it. I just think that this they've even shortened it this year, which I think is
but this is
crazy.
Here's the thing: we never had a plethora of Tommy Johns before the pitch clock. That was never an issue before the pitch clock.
Yeah.
So why is it that the pitch clock gets implemented and now we have all of a sudden 5, 6 guys every year, player or pitcher, getting Tommy John?
No, so hold on. So I do agree with FL's comment here, though. Tommy John was there was a plethora of Tommy John surgeries even before the pitch clock, but now it's getting worse.
Yeah.
So it is getting worse. But to FL Divers' comment, though, I do agree with him. Even before the pitch clock, though, I mean, the Tommy John surgeries were a lot.
It wasn't nearly as much, though.
Nearly as much, but it was still happening though at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
So it's just worse.
I don't think
now.
it's all the pitch clock. I think that it hasn't helped it though. And we've got Uncle T in the building. Salute to Uncle T. What up, my brother? There's no need to panic right now. Let's just hope for the best until after the MRI. Okay, so let's talk about the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is he's out for the year.
Yep.
What do the Yankees do?
They've got 3 options.
Okay.
Yeah.
They can
you hit it, man.
bring up within, bring a pitcher up from within, Hampton, Beater, Warren, whatever. They can make a trade, even though they'll have no leverage, or they
No.
can try and sign someone, even though they'll have no leverage.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's going to be incredibly costly.
Yeah.
The dollars attached to Montgomery and Blake Snell are going to be a lot more now. And the price for Dylan Cease, which we weren't willing to meet during this offseason, is going to increase exponentially as well. And we're now in a bit of a
Predicament.
tough hole. We're in a predicament here because we brought in Juan Soto specifically for this season. Specifically, right? We have built this team specifically to win this year. So
Yep.
that's why this news is almost catastrophic.
Yes.
Because Gerrit Cole is everything. He is the rotation. He is. There's no one else that is even in the same stratosphere as Gerrit Cole. And
Gerrit Cole's on his own fucking planet for all
He
of
is. There's very few in the world that can pitch like Gerrit Cole, but certainly in our rotation, no one can even lace his shoes. So it's
Don't fit to carry his bags.
so then we do have to pay what it's going to take to help this rotation because there's no point in bringing a Juan Soto if we don't have a legit World Series team that we can win with this year. This is terrible news. NFE.
You know, I think the first thing I do see them doing is I could see them easily calling up Will Warren, assuming that this injury is bad. I think that's the first thing I see them doing, to be honest with you, because he is Major League Baseball ready. You know, I see them either doing Will Warren, number 2, trading for a pitcher, or signing one of the free agents. I could see them at this point maybe going after Jordan Montgomery, not necessarily Blake Snell, but I don't know. But I see Will Warren being called up though.
Sunil brings up an interesting point.
Okay.
Can he undergo the same plasma treatment that Tanaka did just to sustain his presence?
Yeah, it's possible. The thing is with that though is Tanaka wasn't the lights out power pitcher he was after the diagnosis. Like he was still great, but he had to kind of change his style a little bit because he lost a couple of velo on his fastball to protect the arm for a long haul. But obviously, we're just talking under the worst case scenario that there is something there. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, again, to Sunil's comment, I mean, yeah, he could do something like that, but I think long term though, it's not going to help him.
No,
that's what I'm worried about. I'm about the long term.
I agree with NFE. I mean, like we can all agree on this is a gut wrenching piece of news that broke. Nobody's happy about it. It's happened though, unfortunately. So we kind of have to accept the fact that it's happened. And we have to now be patient and wait. As hard as it's going to be, we're going to have to be patient and wait to see the end results of these MRIs and these other opinions, which, again, I've said this earlier in the stream. Getting more than one opinion is never a good thing, but it could be a good thing, being that, maybe someone else sees something that someone else doesn't see. So at this point, let's not hit the panic button just yet. Let's see what comes of this MRI before we hit that panic button. Now they say 2 days later, hey, he's requiring Tommy John surgery. By all means, hit the panic button. But for right now, let's throttle back a little bit. Let's hit the brakes. We don't know what the results are yet. It's okay to be concerned, but let's not panic.
I mean, I do think we have to panic because this is a season right now. Like, we're going to find out where the Yankees are in the next couple of days because this defines the season. I think let's just be perfectly honest. If there's no Gerrit Cole, there's no Yankee World Series championship. let's just. I think we have to be honest about it.
Absolutely. But then they've got to figure out what they're going to do to pivot to get this rotation somewhat stabilized. And like I said, they've got 3 options. Call up a guy from within, like a Will Warren, Clayton Beater, Chase Hampton. Make a trade. They're not going to have any leverage.
No.
They can try to, but they're not going to have any leverage. And then also going out into the free agent market, maybe getting a Snell or a Monty. But then again, we're not going to have leverage there. So they've got to figure out a way to pivot.
100%. Now, obviously, this is just a reaction stream, so we don't actually know anything yet. So there is maybe a chance that we get some positive news coming in the next hour. So we don't know. Obviously, one of us as content creators will keep all our fans updated as to what happens. I do want to pick up on our fearless leaders message here. Relax, fans. It could just be soreness, and they are actually being cautious and checking all the boxes. But if that was the case, wouldn't that have been fed back in a tweet by now from like a Brian Hodge or one of the beat guys? Do you know what I'm saying? Like it would say this is just viewed as precautionary. That's not what we're hearing. We're not hearing that at all. You know, I just read out the Nestor Cortez interview where he's like, we didn't realize the seriousness until now. You got Brian Hodge saying it's going to require multiple opinions. When you hear things like that, it says to me, it sounds like it's fairly serious and not just precautionary.
So I do have to get going, but I'll just leave you guys with this. Let's just hope that it's just he's taking precautionary measures just to make sure his elbow isn't anything. It's not anything serious, right? That's what we can hope for at this point. But I know he wasn't recovering well, and he did admit that himself. So it could just be he just wants to make sure. It could just be he's getting it checked out. But that's what we can hope for at this point. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. So
thank you for hopping on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me on, and I'll be going live tomorrow. So
y'all split and y'all sub up to the Strike Zone NFE's channel, his live stream. When are your live streams to tell the viewers, my guy?
Say that again.
Tell the viewers what time your live streams are.
Oh yeah. So I'll go. I go Tuesday, Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 10 a.m. that is, and then sometimes I may go live on a Saturday or Sunday. It's not planned, but it's a surprise. So Sunday I am gonna go live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as long as the guest that I'm gonna have is still good to go. And so that's that. So, but Tuesdays and Thursdays for sure.
Beautiful. Well, we'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, y'all take it easy. Have a good.
Also, Donald, to bring up FJ's FL Divers point, he is right. Do you really trust the Yankees doctors? They couldn't diagnose a concussion. He has absolutely every right to say that because it's true.
Yeah.
But I don't think that this is an injury that they're going to go to the Yankee doctors for. I think they're going to go outside of that and get a specialist to look at it. So, do I trust the Yankees doctors? Not at all.
I know. We haven't even covered Aaron Judge yet, my guy. Aaron Judge is sitting.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God. The face of the Yankees.
The good news is he was taking batting practice today.
Okay.
So that's some good news. He was taking batting practice today. I believe it was Aaron Boone who said he was taking batting practice today. So there's some hope there that it's nothing too serious for him. I think his back just stiffened up, so that's why he wasn't playing. But it was reported that he was taking BP.
Yeah, it's just when Aaron Boone said that it's just spring training wear and tear, that kind of flags up to me a little bit. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
I
bro,
agree.
it's spring. Even like playing for like a week and a half, like that,
Yeah.
that concerns me when you hear that. Like I get regular season wear and tear, but spring wear and tear kind of flags up to me a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
It makes me wonder like what the status of his toe is, or what the story is with that. I don't think it's an issue. I'm sure Judge will be back in a couple of days, but it is something to pay attention to, because we know what we know what the Yankees doctors are like.
Yeah.
This is a well-known issue, and listen, as Uncle T says here, the doctor's credibility is definitely flawed. Jonathan is right. The Yankees need a new doctor. Sunil, salute to Sunil. Wait a minute, Yankees have doctors. Breaking news. Exactly. Do they?
But that's why I said they're probably going to send Cole to a specialist who deals with that kind of stuff and not to their own doctors, because you want a specialist to look at that before you send them to your own doctors.
Yeah. Joe has a point here. In 2014, Tanaka had a small tear. He did the PRP treatment, and he returned within 6 weeks. He had opinions from 3 doctors, and they recommended PRP. It worked out, but I don't know if that's a long-term solution for Cole because everyone's different. But it did affect the way that Tanaka pitched because he was, he was an ace, a lights-out ace prior to it, and then after it, he was still a very, very solid pitcher, but he wasn't the lights out ace.
The other difference is Cole's 33. Tanaka wasn't.
You're right. Every pitcher is different. We don't know how they're going to respond to the treatment. If indeed any treatment is required, we don't know yet. So, of course, we're just working on under any assumptions. Donnie says, Donnie Baseball is my new name from. Donald, now is the time to sign Monty or Snell. Yeah, well, the Yankees need to do something. Like they needed to do something. If anybody watched our stream at 10 a.m., we were talking about we needed to add another arm anyway. That's without knowing the Gerrit Cole news. So this even heightens the need to do so.
Yeah.
Salute to Jonathan. 5 likes. Exactly. We got all these people in the chat, but only come on, guys. You can do better than that. Let's hit the like button. Everybody who is joining us, hit the like button. It helps with the algorithms, and we want to climb up on the old sub list. We got some cool stuff for y'all once we get over the 600 mark and above. So if anyone who is watching after the fact, hit the like and hit the sub button. We would appreciate it immensely. We do really appreciate y'all's support. What is happening here? Everybody in the chat. We've got Joan. What are they saying? There's Dr. Phil. Bro, I think I need Dr. Phil for therapy. I need Dr. Phil for freaking therapy here.
Donald, I got to run because I got to get ready for work. But thank you for having me on. Hopefully we get some good news out of this.
Yeah.
Hoping. Hopefully it was just precautionary, but we'll see what happens. But again, thank you for having me on, and we will talk later in the week.
We sure will. We'll sort out another stream, I'm sure. Y'all sub up to the Fortune Express and watch all his content because it is excellent.
Deuces.
Salute, my guy. Salute. So this is the situation we're in, guys. I mean, listen, this is just a reaction pod. We don't know anything yet. We're just working on what the best case scenario is, what the worst case scenario is. Best case scenario is it's just precautionary, but that's still going to take time because it's such a fragile situation with your pitching elbow. That's going to take a long, maybe month, maybe 2 months of being absolutely careful, and that eats into the season. So there's that. Maybe he needs PRP, and that maybe takes 6 weeks, but we don't know if that's required. We don't know what the status is yet. It's just, when I'm reading the updates on Twitter and they're not using words like precautionary yet, it says to me that maybe this is a little bit more serious. It's really, scary news. Like, this is this Yankee season right here. Let's just not beat around the bush. I'm not saying that if the worst case scenario happens that we just give up and don't watch. I'm not saying that, but if you want to win a World Series, you can't do it without Gerrit Cole. Let's just be completely honest. So this is real. This is very real, very concerning, and we don't exactly have the best doctors. So the fact that this is flagged up now, we don't know. Maybe it is diagnosed that he's okay, but with these doctors, anything can happen. So that's another thing. You know, is another real concern as well. Worst case scenario, then he's out for the year. God, pray that doesn't happen. But either way, the Yankees need to add another arm. It adds urgency, and the Yankees just need to do away with the idea that they're going to get any value here. If you want to re-engage with Blake Snell or Jordan Montgomery with Scott Boras, you're not going to get any value. You just have to bite the bullet and say we need them. Let's make a deal. That's to save the season. But they need to add one of these arms anyway, even without knowing what Gerrit Cole's status is. Matthew, salute Matthew. Thank you for joining, man. This would be game, set, match. It exactly is. That's 1,000% right. Hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Donnie Baseball, what do you got to say, man? Judge Toole, now Cole. Wow, it's going to hurt. Oh my God, I'm legitimately stressed. I'm going to need Dr. Phil here with some therapy here. I need some Yankee therapy. I'm being Yankified as we talk right now. Stressed out. Okay, FL Diver, even in best case, he gets shut down a few months. By that time, we are far back. It's silly. Well, that's it. Best case scenario, he's probably, out until early summer. Then what? Because every game counts, as we saw last year. The Yankees don't have time to just sit and wait. So, I mean, we hope that it's the best case scenario and we got Gerrit Cole for the dog days, but even still, we need to get serious here and engage other agents. I know that Brian Cashman said it's a very slow market, but they don't have time. They don't have time to waste here. This is real. This is serious. If this news, even under the best circumstances, if this news is anything, it shows how precarious this Yankees pitching situation is, and that should heighten the urgency that we require here. And I have no doubt that Brian Cashman is doing that, but we don't know anything, and it is very stressful not knowing anything. It's the unknown. But, Dylan Cease, I was reading today that the Yankees were seriously involved this offseason and Dylan Cease negotiations, but the White Sox didn't like any of our packages. They didn't like any of it. And although there were serious negotiations, it never got to the point where it was close enough for them to be happy with any of our combination of prospects to get a deal done, which is worrying because if we re-engage the conversation, do the Yankees need to now panic and maybe add a name that we don't want to add yet? Oh, what's happening, my guy?
I thought it was closer to 2:00.
Okay.
So I got a little screwy up there.
All right. Well, welcome back, my guy. Welcome back. I'm sure we'll be on for another few minutes. Without Cole, I don't know that we will win the. No, I can tell you now, Matthew, we're not winning a World Series with Gerrit Cole. That's just. I'm just saying that. I don't think it's a big statement to say. We're not. Donnie says, Don, we talked about earlier, we have to give to get. I agree. I completely agree. Massa was kicking rocks, Donald.
Yeah.
Maybe Massa needed to take a deep breath.
I needed a lot of things. Caffeine was one of them.
This cool news is all happy. I know. This is like the worst possible news.
It's worst possible timing. We can't forget that. Right before, 17 days before opening day, and we're getting this news.
Yeah, this is 17 days days before opening day, and we're getting serious news about Gerrit Cole, and we've got questionable news about Aaron Judge. I mean,
Yeah.
there's legit worry here. I'm legitimately worried. There's nothing that I've read which is an indication of anything positive today. Like this is.
uh,
I mean, what are you thinking right now, man? Like, we'll try and maybe be a bit positive. Let's think about some positive things before we sign off. What kind of positive things can we take away?
Positives. That's a good one. Other than the fact that, he's getting it looked at, I don't really see much positives going on here. I hate to say it, but this is going to sound bad, but with this news, I'm more inclined to watch the LSU Tigers college baseball team over the Yankees right now, because that's how devastated I am by this.
It is devastating news. I mean, the Gerrit Cole thing is so serious because your pitching elbow. It's not even his non-pitching elbow. It's his pitching
elbow.
And there's nothing you can do. If your pitching elbow is shot, then you're shot.
Yeah.
So it's
a shit show. It's a fucking shit show. I think
back to that interview that he did with Jack Curry, and I thought, yeah, he's hiding something.
You want to know something?
Yeah.
It is turned into a 3-ring circus.
Yeah, it's early days, but we're getting the signs of it because we're 3 weeks before opening day. This is spring. This is things are meant to be cool, chilled, and relaxed. And now, this is stressful. We're not even gotten to the dog days yet. We're not even in April yet, let alone the dog days of August.
And you want to know what the crazy thing is? I had a hunch that Cole was going to have another fantastic season. I'm sure you did too. But I said to myself, we got Soto, we got Verdugo, we got Grisham, we got Stroman to go with Cole. Cole's going to do great, even better than he did last year. And now this. And then it came crashing down on all of us.
It is. It's crushing news. The good news is that Gerrit Cole is very aware of his body. So
yes,
maybe
that is good.
Maybe he's well ahead of it. He isn't hiding anything, which is good. But I do get the sense that last interview, if y'all maybe go back and see the previous game that he pitched and Curry interviewed him, it did look like that Cole was a little bit hazy with his recovery. He's like, he just seemed a little bit unsure, and that made me very concerned. But we need to re-engage this market. We don't have the luxury now. We just don't. There's no question about it. We have to re-engage and look into the pitching market.
Now between Snell and Monty, I would take Monty just because he's not attached to a QO. That I would do. That I'd be willing to. That I would entertain.
Exactly. So I mentioned this. I mentioned this in our earlier stream at 10 a.m. I was like, what if we did a deal with Montgomery where, say, it's 25 mil AAV, 3-year deal, and a player opt out after 2 years. And what we do is we defer, let's say, 7 or 8 million of that 25 of the first year and a year 2. So he gets paid 32 mil in year 2, 18 in year 1. And I know it's still going to be hefty on our tax because then it's still 110%. So it's going to be.
But at the end of the day, though, you're
30 plus, but still, that's not horrible. You can live with it.
No,
all that.
But at the end of the day, you've still pivoted to try to restabilize the rotation.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And I agree with you. And you know what? I like that. I might even do your 3-year deal, 25 AAV with deferred money, and then I might give him a player option for a 4th if he reaches X amount of innings, like they did with Stroman.
Yeah.
Where if he reaches 140 innings in year 2, then he automatically gets that that third year option, that he has the right to say no, I want to leave, or no, I will stay. But if he doesn't, then the team has that option. So if you did a 3-year deal, like you said, and then give him an option where he has to reach X amount of innings in year 3, if he stays, then at least you've covered yourself as well.
That's a great point. I do agree with incentivization. We made a really good team-friendly deal to get Stroman, but a lot of that was because he desperately wanted to be a Yankee. We don't know what Montgomery's feelings are. And this is not us discussing like panic, worst-case scenario. We need another pitcher anyway because Nestor Cortez ain't it, right? I've been saying it. I've not been impressed with him.
And if you and I have been talking, Donald, I don't know if you saw his highlights from the game, his last game pitched.
I've watched all his starts.
Everything is flat. There is something not right with his shoulder. I can guarantee you that now. There is something not right with his shoulder. Being someone who has an elbow, a UCL injury, and a labrum and rotator cuff that's torn, I can tell you right now, his stuff is flat. He is overcompensating. He is trying to force the ball to move when he shouldn't be, which is what a healthy pitcher would do. Just let the ball move and do its thing. But he is forcing everything. There's something not right with his shoulder, and he's not saying it. Or the Yankees know about it and aren't saying it because they want to try to mask it so that they can keep him in the rotation.
I couldn't agree more, man. Like, as I say, when that start where he left the cutter right over the middle of the plate and it got absolutely tattooed, it was flat and it hung. It was like, literally batting practice.
His curveball's a batting practice pitch.
It is. And none of his pitches are elite anyway. So if you're getting to the point where, it's kind of flat and it's hanging and it needs to be located absolutely inch perfectly or it's going to get tattooed, that concerns me. I don't know how injured he is, but that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing flat.
His left there's something wrong with his left shoulder and he's not saying it. Now, you know how they said it with Peraza?
Right.
Where one of his 4 major muscles that make up the rotator cuff is badly strained.
Right.
And then he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. I'll send you that video because I put out a video about that and I named all the muscles. But there is something seriously wrong with that rotator cuff. You can't sit there and tell me, oh, he's fine. He's throwing better. He looks. No, his stuff doesn't have any movement to it. It doesn't have any life to it. I don't care. Dead. You can sit because look at Rodon. I'm going to take him for example because people have been harping on him. In Rodon's 2-3 starts, he has been increasing his pitch count, his innings, start by start. Cortez hasn't even gotten past the 3rd.
And I don't want him to get past the 4th, even on his good days, because he just doesn't have the stuff to go around the order a 2nd or 3rd time round.
But at this time in spring training, they should be getting further and deeper into games and further and deeper into pitch counts.
Yeah, this is the stage.
This is the stage. He couldn't even get out of the 3rd inning against, who was it, Minnesota?
He was getting lit up like a bonfire.
By Minnesota, right? Yeah. He was getting lit up by Minnesota. He couldn't get out of the 3rd inning. There's something seriously wrong with that rotator cuff. And I don't want to hear it from any Yankee doctor or any Yankee personnel because I can guarantee you something is either strained or torn in that shoulder, and they're not saying anything about it.
It's either that or just the fact that he just doesn't have it. Because it's one of the three, and none of them are good.
Or it could be 2 of the 3 that he just doesn't have it. For one, which we can clearly see, or something is either strained or torn, because you can't sit there and say that his stuff has movement. It has zero. You could hit that.
Yeah. Exactly. That hanging cutter that I was talking about was in the 2nd start that went up for a home run. I mean, bro, anybody anybody could hit that.
A minor leaguer could tattoo the fuck out of that.
For a home run. I mean, honestly, it was right there. It was crazy. All his pitches are dead. There's nothing to it. It's lifeless.
There's no life to it. And I suggested to NFE that the Yankees hold a bullpen session for him. Okay? Hold a bullpen session whenever he's got a day off, whenever the Yankees don't have him pitch, in Tampa, right before a game. Take a look at the movement, take a look at the stuff, clock the velo, and see where he's at. Because I can guarantee you, he's barely hitting 90. Barely hitting 90.
It is. It's barely. You're right. And the pitches are dead. I noticed at his first start, he was giving up some loud hits, and he got out of it, kind of luckily. He didn't get out of it too well in the second start. Third start, he got obliterated. It's not trending well.
No, it got worse and worse and worse.
Yes, his best start was his first start, and it's getting progressively worse. It should be getting progressively better.
Like I said with Rodon, his has gotten progressively better. Yes. Did he get smacked around in BP? Great. Don't care about BP. Did he get smacked around in the game a little bit? Yes, but he rebounded from it. Yeah. Cortez did not. Cortez is going on the downhill slope, while Rodon went on the uphill slope.
And it's very real, regardless of Gerrit Cole. So, regardless of Gerrit Cole, I think we need to be engaging in the pitching market, because if we get in this situation where I believe, and it looks like Mazza believes that the Nestor stuff is dead or he's hurt.
I think he's hurt.
Yeah,
I think honestly, it's not that I don't think he doesn't have it. I think he's hurt, and they're not saying anything. It's just like I'm going to use Rizzo's injury last year.
Okay,
he was hurt. No one said anything. Doctors couldn't fucking diagnose a concussion, which is very serious. And now with Nestor Cortez, it's the same thing. You're only exacerbating that injury, and you're brewing something that's going to become worse. So shut him down now. Take a look at his velo. Have him throw a bullpen. See how his stuff is, and then reevaluate, because it's not getting any better. And it's not going to get any better anytime soon, especially with his shoulder injury that he had last year. Because who knows? He could have re-aggravated that shoulder injury from last year.
I think his next start is going to be very, very telling. If his next start is as bad as his last one, regardless of results, if his pitches are as flat as they have been, then we have a major issue. And I would definitely take you up on that the Yankees need to be very proactive. But the medical team has never been proactive. They don't do pro-action.
I've said it right here. Yankees have joke medical team.
Yeah, they aren't proactive. For some reason, the Yankees were quite okay with Rizzo openly missing pitches by like a clear second, and it wasn't flagged up to them. I mean, it shouldn't just be on the player to let them know that there was a problem. They should be proactive, but they weren't proactive. And I mean, it's very, very obvious that there was a problem since Rizzo was missing pitches that he normally would hit into the moon. So that was a huge problem. That's what worries me, is that we're going down the same path with Nestor Cortez.
Honestly, I don't even give Cortez another start.
Yeah.
I don't give him another start.
Well, I want to see, with another start, I want to see where we're at.
Can I tell you why I don't give him another start?
Yeah, to her. What? Okay.
So you saw how he pitched the first 3 starts, right? Progressively worse. We both agree on that.
All agree.
If you put him in a bullpen session, you are clearly going to see, like even a live BP, you're going to see. It's going to be the same effect, right? That it's going to be almost the exact same thing. It's like you're mimicking a game. That's why they do live BP. So if they do a live BP session or a bullpen session, they can get a better look. They can stand behind whoever's going to catch him, and they can get a better look at his stuff instead of sitting on the side where they don't have that angle to see how his stuff is moving. And they have a better perspective and a better point of view. So then that way they can diagnose it quicker and be like, okay, this does not look right, we're shutting you down.
Mhm.
Don't give him that don't give him another start. Give him a bullpen session or a live BP session. Because at least that way you can see how his stuff is moving.
Well, that's right.
From
Whatever
behind the
they
catcher.
do, they need to have a proper look at him because they're lying to themselves if they think that his stuff is okay. It's not okay. We can just
It's
see it with our
gaslighting.
own eyes. Yeah, they're lying to themselves if they think that his stuff is okay. It's far from okay. There's nothing good about his stuff. I'm very worried about his stuff. I'm not worried about Rodon. Yes, I'm worried about the fact he was hurt all last year. But I think there's a legitimate plan with him. I think he's healthy. I think he's going to be okay. But I'm very concerned about Nestor Cortes. His pitches are flat. And he doesn't have any elite pitches anyway. So we can't really afford his pitches to be flat. And there's another aspect, like, what are the options outside of him? Will Warren, we need to see more of in spring.
He's starting today.
That's good. I'm glad to see, but we still need to see him over more than we have done.
Him and Beater are starting today, both of them.
Yep. And then
so I'm happy about that.
Weaver's not been impressive. He's been okay.
He's been better than Nestor. Let's put it that.
Bro, you're better than Nestor. So it's like, yeah. So then the options, and I just don't want to overwork our bullpen because
no, you can't afford that.
No, our bullpen lost Mike King, so we don't really have the luxury of overworking our bullpen right up to, because last year our bullpen was cooked by June. It was because we were over reliant on our bullpen to help the bottom half of our pitching rotation to eat up 4 innings every single day. So,
but Uncle T says the one thing Rodon can't do is press. Be the pitcher you are, not the ace. He's right.
Yeah, there'll be heightened expectations for him. That's for sure. Regardless,
but now he's
got a scenario with Gerrit Cole. Circle back to Cole. Best case scenario is it's precautionary. It's a rest thing. He's then going to have to sit out for 2 to 3 to maybe even 4 weeks to rest that elbow, and then to rebuild. So it's almost like going back to the start.
For all we know, it could be just a strain. We just don't know at this point.
If it's just a strain, but it's still a case of having to go back to square one. After you rest it for 3-4 weeks, then it's a case of building it back up, like pitchers and catchers. February. So, you're adding another month to that. I think best case scenario, Gerrit Cole absolutely is fine. Best case scenario is you don't see him for 6-7 weeks. And and
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because you're giving him the proper rest time to let that elbow heal. And that's what we need, because we need him at his best. Because Gerrit Cole at his best is the best pitcher in the sport. I don't care what anybody says. He is the best pitcher in the sport when he's at his best. There's nobody that can touch him. He's on his own planet.
Yeah. He's Picasso. He's the Picasso pitcher.
Yeah, he is.
So let's hope that it's the best case scenario. Let's hope that it's a case of rest, nothing major, and that maybe by May he's ready to ramp it up again, and maybe you see him by the end of May, something like that. Maybe that's the case. But do the Yankees have the arms? Say it is the best case scenario. Do the Yankees have the arms to survive for, say, 2 months of regular season baseball without the Picasso pitchers eating 7 innings?
I would say probably yes, just for those 2 months. But after that, then you got to kind of look to see what you have to do to kind of restabilize. I think you'll get 2, maybe 2.5 months at most, but you don't want to push it. So you really have to hope that it is the best case scenario.
I'm actually with FL and Donnie Baseball on this. I don't think we do, because that means that our bullpen is going to be heavily strained.
Oh, I agree.
Because Rodon, you can't trust that he's going to go 7 innings yet. He hasn't pitched, basically didn't pitch all last year. So he's not going to eat you any innings. Nestor Cortez is a 4-inning pitcher, if that.
Nestor Cortez is a AAA pitcher at this point.
And then Clark Schmidt, he's a 5-inning pitcher, and an average one. So then you're asking Marcus Stroman to eat a ton of innings. So that's just one guy out of every 5 that can maybe give you legit length in your rotation. That's
Stroman's a bulldog. Stroman's another bulldog, and that's why he's grown on me.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Our bullpen can't handle pitching 4 innings 4 days out of 5. It's going to absolutely strain or kill our bullpen before Gerrit Cole even has a chance to save the year. It's serious. That's why we do need to absolutely attack that pitching market.
Yeah,
we really do.
I would think that
regardless of Cortez.
Here's a name that we haven't talked about, and then you do what you need to do. But Shane Bieber might be an option because he's got that Matt Blake connection.
He's been an option all offseason, but where are we with that? Because, Cleveland could still technically compete, and do they actually want to give up one of their best arms if they have a chance at an outside shot of making a wild card run?
I mean, I don't know if they really have an outside shot, because I think it's up for anyone. For all we know, they could win the division. That's how bad the AL Central is.
That's what I'm saying. So are they going to give up their best arm? What kind of look is that before spring training ends? Oh, we've given up our number 1 pitcher, and we're all right with the tank. I don't think that's a good look.
Yeah.
So this is real. I think the only way we can really do this is to re-engage with the White Sox, who we know aren't going to compete, or go into free agency and bring in Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell.
I would say Monty, because he's not attached to the QO, and you can add incentives to his contract because he's got more to play for. Snell does not. Snell's already won the Cy Young Award, and if you do give him incentives, the incentives has to be you have to pitch more than 180 innings a season, and you have to pitch more than 5 innings in a game. Because he can't do that. And we all know he can't. But it's going to force him to.
Mm-hmm. It's all really good points. I want to thank everybody in the chat that's hung out with us. Warren may pitch at the end of the rotation. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how he does today. Let's hope he has a good start, and then maybe lessens the pressure on Cashman. But we're all going to be waiting with bated breath as to the status of our pitching Picasso Gerrit Cole.
Absolutely.
There's no way.
If I hear anything on that front, I'll let you know.
Exactly. Any updates that we have, we will hop on. We will do either do a quick video, or we'll do another stream like this. I really appreciate my guy Mazza jumping on and helping out today. Thank you, everyone in the chat who's ridden with us, because got the same guys in the chat that's ridden with us since 10 a.m. You guys are goats, so I really appreciate that. And we will talk soon. So salute to everybody, and we will catch you guys on Wednesday, barring any other news, etc. So wear your pinstripes with pride.
And play hard.
Take care, y'all.
Deuces.